All right. Okay, good afternoon. Hope everybody's good. Excited about this weekend. Saturday should be a great game. It seems like we got over 40,000 tickets out for the game, which would be the most we've gotten out so far this season. Leaves 10,000 left. Have a whiteout scheduled. Fun fact about a whiteout, I did some research. 2004 was the first whiteout at Penn State. Purdue game. Didn't win that game, unfortunately. Then Iowa didn't win that one. And then Michigan State, they had a whiteout and won that one. And then after that, beat Ohio State the next year with the whiteout, and it's been the tradition ever since. So excited about our tradition, excited about having a great atmosphere and really doing something very special on Saturday night with our fan base. Our 4 honorary captains will be who I refer to as the 4 horsemen. Chuck Cecil, Ricky Hunley, Brandon Sanders, and Cindric Steptoe. So 4 guys that have all been a part of some pretty special things here at University of Arizona are going to be our honorary captains for Saturday night. So really excited about that and excited about the game. Our guys have practiced very hard over the course of the bye week and this week and are looking forward to the opportunity Saturday evening to play an outstanding UCLA team.
You had said the other day that you had talked to Chip Kelly about maybe joining his staff with the Eagles, and then one of the UCLA reporters asked him about that, and he said that didn't happen. So what is the actual?
I guess we have different recollections of 10 years ago, but we'll focus in on the game on Saturday night, which I think is far more important than what happened in 2013.
What's the first thing you see about their offense and what he's doing now?
Yeah, they're excellent. Chip's a great coach and has changed throughout the years. When he was at Oregon, and they were obviously, we all know how high tempo they were, how fast they were, and really how explosive they were. Then in the NFL, I remember that first Monday Night Football game where they just came out high flying against the Redskins and were just up and down the field. And then we played them in 2014. I was the offensive coordinator in Jacksonville, and he was the head coach in Philly, and we played them opening day. And obviously I think we lost the game 30-17, but saw how he runs his offense there, which is a little bit different. And then each place he's been, I didn't see him in San Francisco, but each place he's been, he's evolved. He's got very good players. He's been an outstanding run game coach his whole career. Obviously, he has produced some incredible run games, and with that allows you to have some great explosive passes. So we got our work cut out for us to stop UCLA's offense.
How different is what he's doing now? How different is it from what he was doing when he was at Oregon?
Yeah, I don't really know exactly. I haven't spent too much time watching their offense. I just know there's bits and pieces that we all have evolved. I think he was at Oregon. I guess his last year in Oregon was 2012 or something like that. So 9 years of football has gone on since then. We've all probably done a lot of changing in that time. And it just seems as if they're just back to moving the ball. I think other than last week, I think they've scored over 31 points a game the last 5 or 6 games they played, if not more.
Again, for the pregame show, if you could preview the defense and what they're going to throw at you, and talk a little bit about DTR and the challenges that a true quarterback like him will give you.
Yeah, defensively, they're an extremely aggressive bunch. They've really tried to create turnovers. I think they've created 7 of them this season. They're very. Their nickel, number 24, does an outstanding job. Quentin Lake, their safety, does a great job of directing traffic. They brought in some really good linebackers through the portal. And they're going to give you all sorts of different looks. It is a great challenge for a quarterback to have to defend all the different looks, all the different different coverage schemes and pressures. So that'll be a big challenge for us. On the side of DTR, Dorian's a great player. I've always told the story that I went and watched him at Bishop Gorman a couple of times, and he was the best wide receiver on the field, and he was also the second quarterback. And then as soon as he was done playing wide receiver, when they took a big lead, he then went in and played quarterback. Tate Martell was the starting quarterback at that time. And then the next year, he became the starting quarterback for Gorman. So he's got ability to do it with his feet, ability to do it with his arm, and overall, really impressive.
Your tight ends have 7 catches and 11 targets so far. Are you happy with that, or would you like to see more balls going their way?
I'd like to see more balls going their way. I would like us to be far. I would hope we were closer to, probably 5 to 8 targets a game would be much more of what we would be looking for there. I think there were some plays over the course of the season where the tight end maybe was the primary. We didn't get it to him, or we missed it, or we didn't, we didn't read it right, or whatever it might be. Maybe pressure caused us to leave the pocket early. But we're a tight end driven offense, and we just haven't gotten that going just yet. Obviously, a lot of targets have gone to Stanley in the slot, but we need to do a better job as we continue on getting the ball to the tight end.
What do you think about their tight end, Greg Phillips?
I think he's outstanding. I think he's an extreme challenge. They've done a great job developing him over the years. Each year he's gotten better, more explosive. I mean, he's going to catch the ball deep down the field. He's going to catch the ball and catch and run. One thing that looks to me is he's very hard to tackle. A lot of times the first guy doesn't tackle him. So I think we have to, make sure we get him down, and then we're going to have some great challenges on different ways to defend him.
Alec.
George McLeod said this week that it's been beneficial for him to get more snaps in practice with the ones. Can you sense that from him? That he just felt more comfortable?
Oh, yeah, I think that's without a question. I mean, he's probably at, as I told you guys the other day, the first 2 weeks, 0 reps with the ones. The third week, I think maybe 8 to 10 reps with the ones. And now you're talking closer to 90% of the reps with the ones. So over a 7-day practice schedule, when you talked about the bye week, and then also talk about this week, man, he's probably close to a couple hundred reps with the ones. And when he gets all those reps, hopefully he'll feel more comfortable with throwing to those guys, the reads, running the offense, and doing certain things that I think will enable us to take one more step forward in what will hopefully be a week-by-week step forward in this process.
Did you open up any of the positions to competition during the bye, and would we anticipate seeing any new contributors?
I would say that I'm most hopeful for more wide receivers playing. I think Jamari had a very good practice yesterday. I think that the young guys, Anthony Simpson and Dorian Singer, showed up this week. And then, throughout I would say that position group is probably the one that had the biggest competition. And then Paris Shant had a very good week. I think Paris only had 1 or 2 reps against Oregon. And I think we need to get him some more reps as well this week.
Jedd. When you go into a game, any game, do you look at how many points we need to score to win the game, other than more than the other guys?
Yeah.
How many points we need to put on the board? What do we need to hold them to make it our kind of game?
Yeah, I mean, we talk each week about keys to victory. And sometimes those keys have to do with how many points you score, or sometimes they talk about who you need to eliminate in the game, or what you need to do to be able to move the football and control the time of possession, or maybe it has to do with protecting the ball. But I think when it comes to points, we all know that's the most important stat. But it's more so you have to realize that, there's certain games you go into when you recognize that, hey, this might be one that you've got to be more aggressive on certain situations. We can all point back to the New England versus Indy game where New England went for it on 4th and 3, in their own, on their own side of the field on Monday Night Football when Peyton Manning was the quarterback of the other team, because you felt like you didn't want to give him the ball back with an opportunity to score. I think sometimes you do that and you go into a game and you say, all right, what is it going to take? How aggressive do you need to be? Is this a game against BYU? We felt that, we wanted to go for it early. We wanted to try to, have the ball, so we took some 4th down chances. I think every week it's different, and every week we have to figure out the best way to try to get in that end zone.
You talked about the early explosive plays that other teams have been able to accomplish against you. What do you think is the best way to minimize those or even prevent them?
Well, the biggest thing for our team right now is we have to figure out a way that the power of belief. The power of belief when you walk onto the field, you don't just have to, test the waters out. You can just jump right in. And I think sometimes what has happened here, maybe over the course of the last 2-3 years now, is it's always hedging the bet a little bit or testing the waters and then realizing, hey, we can play with this team and we can compete with this team and we don't need to give them a head start. And I think that's really for us. We need to start. I hate to use it. Start fast, finish strong. You don't win the game in the first, second, or third quarter. You win it at the end, but you can lose the game in the first quarter. And that's what we have to really do everything we can not to do.
When you have the whole team together, do you talk to them about, like, we need to win a game, or do you talk to them more about these are the things we need to do to win a game?
Yeah, we talk about process. We talk about what needs to get done for us to get better. And if we got better every day, how the results usually take care of itself. We all know, Bill Walsh wrote a book, The Score Takes Care of Itself. And I think that's really what it comes down to. It comes down to get better, get better, get better. And then if you get better and don't look at the scoreboard, then all of a sudden the result will start coming. None of us want to be in a situation where we've lost 4 games in a row as a team, this team. But we need to find a way to, turn that over by just playing better football throughout the whole game and then really play better on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in order to be able to be better on Saturday.
Super random question, but have you ever seen Ted Lasso? And if so, what are your thoughts?
I have not ever seen Ted Lasso, but I've heard so many good things about it. I need to make that an off-season viewing.
Mitchell Agude is by far the most productive and highest graded UCLA defender. How do they use him? Where do they put him, and how do you slow him down?
Well, I think the biggest thing for us is we need to know where he is at, okay? And we need to understand how are we going to defend him? What are we going to do to make sure that a lot of things they do schematically causes one-on-ones, or a lot of things they do schematically causes you to be put in tough positions. And I'm not taking anything away from Agude. I think he's an excellent player. But I also believe that Coach Az has done a great job of causing you to do something with your protection or do something in the running game that has now caused a matchup that you really don't match up well with. And then you'd be able to, guys can get exposed and also guys can show out. So we need to be aware of where he's at. We also have to be aware of how we can handle some of the looks and the exotic looks that this team gives.
Time for a couple more. We'll go Justin and Michael.
Offensive line, how are they doing, and how are they also doing, health-wise?
We're 100% healthy up front. We would expect it to be Morgan, Lay, McCauley, Donovan, Fierce. All 5 will be good to go with Baker coming in, just like we've been doing. They felt some confidence in terms of being able to, I think we let up 1 sack against Oregon and had, a pretty good rushing night for the most part. But they also want to get a lot better. There's a lot of places where we could be a lot better. There's a lot of places where the quarterback got 54 yards with his feet. Some of that had to do with scrambling. And what would prefer to do is stay more in the pocket, be able to let some things develop. So they're excited about the challenge. I think UCLA provides a really, really, really good challenge for our team. They're veteran up front. They're strong. They're physical. They're fast. And our offensive line has to accept that challenge and really go with it.
All right, Michael, finish up.
Stevie Rocker, I think, is coming up on that 4-game limit where,
Yeah.
4 and still redshirt. I'm not sure if anyone else is in or close to that, maybe Isaiah Taylor. Just wondering how you plan to manage those situations with those guys, and if there's any other freshmen that you might, sort of give a tryout to.
Sure.
Like throw them out there for a few games and see how they do.
Yeah, Isaiah Taylor's has 2 games left before he would hit his 4-game red shirt number. Stevie will continue to play all season. We believe he's can help us. We believe that he's developing into a player that immediately can make an impact over these next 8 games. There's some guys that maybe have a 1 game. I'd probably be more protective of that situation, of not having to put them in, maybe they play a couple games sporadically depending on the situation. It is nice that you can use the 4 games throughout. You don't have to necessarily it has to be 4 games and you're done. But when it comes to redshirting, there is some discussions that will occur with some players, both veteran and younger. Some guys want the opportunity to train with T.O. for 1 more offseason and then really feel like they can impact the team differently. And then there's also the younger guys that we do believe need to train. And then we also have the COVID numbers this year. You have 11 extra players that you wouldn't normally have, 11 super seniors, that once that number gets brought down too, you have to kind of figure out your numbers for the next 3 years roster-wise as you're making redshirt decisions.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you guys. Have a great night.